Hi there. Let's take a look at this Chapter 3 work for our case, business spreadsheet applications. So we're going to start, you can see I already have on the screen the wedding file. I downloaded it from our Blackboard site. I've opened it and saved it with my last and first name at the end. Okay, so let's start by adding the sum function to cell F9. So our sum function, we're going to use our auto sum feature here from the home tab. I'm going to make this a little bit lower down. From the home tab way on the right hand side, if I click the down arrow next to our auto sum feature, I have the most common functions that we use in Excel: sum, average, count the number of occurrences, max and min. We're just going to use the sum function to sum up the total number of items per basket. So I click that sum function name and then I press enter on my keyboard. All right, go back up and click on F9 one more time. Let's take a look at the range of cells that it references. So we are summing up the range of cells B9 through E9. And as we take a look at those references, we can stop and remember that the way that the cell addresses are given are relative to our location. So Excel is looking at this, we could think of it not as B9, the cell address, but rather as the cell 4 to my left. And then it's summing that up all the way through the cell that's 1 to my left. Now, go ahead and hover your mouse over the autofill function and autofill that function name down through F11. And it works, that autofill works because the relative referencing of that range of cells is the same. We're always telling Excel, sum the group of cells that are 4 to my left all the way through 1 to my left. And that's why that function name works in that instance. Okay, now we're going to go down to cell B15 and we're going to type in just a regular formula here. We're just going to do a mathematical calculation. So we're going to type equals B9 times, and then we want to do, for this one, I'm going to back up. We want to start with B14. We're going to take B14 minus, and we're going to do our left-hand parentheses. We're going to do this order of precedence. Remember, the parentheses within our mathematical calculation says do this first. So we're going to add our left-hand parentheses and say B14 times E3. And then we're going to wrap up that parentheses. They always have to match, and press enter. Okay, we should get an answer. That's our first job. Make sure our formula works. Go back up and click on B15. And we're going to take a look at the cell addresses again. So if we think about this idea of cell addresses being relative to our location, what we're telling Excel in this formula is to take the cell that's 1 above me and minus that from the cell that's 1 above me times this little guy up here. What is he like? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 up and 4 to the right. So it's relative to that location. So let's see what happens. Go ahead and use your autofill function to autofill that over to C15. Now in C15, it doesn't work. Let's go ahead, click once in your formula bar and see what happens. The reference to one cell above continues to work, right? It was B14, now it's C14. That's perfect, that's exactly what we need. But look what happened, it used to say E3, now it says F3, right? Because it's relative, it's still 11 above and 4 to the right based on my location. But the problem is F3 doesn't work for us. So let's go ahead and go back to B15. What we need to tell Excel is to keep E3 absolutely the same no matter what. So what I'd like you to do is highlight E3 alone, just E3, and on your keyboard press F4, the F4 button. Now if you're on a laptop, you might have to press and hold the FN key and then press F4. And what that'll do is that'll put $signs in front of the column letter E and the row number 3. Remember that every cell address has 2 parts. So when we're telling Excel to make this cell address absolutely the same and don't change it, we're saying don't change either part. Do not change the column letter and do not change the row number. Okay, press enter to confirm that change. Nothing will change in B15. We know the formula works there. The trick is, will it work in C15? So go ahead and autofill it over. And notice now it works. Our answer should be $7.19. And if we look on the formula bar, notice B14 turned into C14. That's exactly what we wanted to have happen. And E3 stayed the same. So that's terrific. And now if we continue to autofill that into D15 and E15, it works for the remainder of them as well. It works terrific. It'll work in every instance. And that's the difference then between our relative referencing and our absolute referencing.